The Community Foundation for Northeast Florida is the oldest and one of the largest community foundations in the state. Last year, that included distributing more than 3,000 grants, totaling $66 million. The group also supports local artists. In just a minute, my guests are going to announce the winners of this year's Art Venture Awards. I'm joined now by Kathleen Shaw, Senior Vice President at the foundation. Good morning.
Good morning.
And Amy Crane, Senior Director of Grantmaking.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
In just a minute, I wanted to get to the work of the Community Foundation. But since we've been teasing this since the top of the show, let's get right to the winners. Amy, tell us about the winners, who won, and what they're going to receive.
Yes, we've got 10 winners this year, and each winner is going to receive a grant of $5,000. And I just want to say that this has been the most competitive selection process that we've ever had. We had 69 applications. We were only able to make 10 grants, so you can see just the breadth of talent that is in this community. So our winners this year, and I'm really pleased to announce, our first winner is Raquel Benjamin. She's a visual artist and fashion designer. Julian Bryson, he's a music composer and conductor. Emily Cargill, a choreographer. Andrew Fallon is a filmmaker. Barbara Hyanides is a visual artist. Andrew Kozlowski, visual artist and comic book designer. Jessica Stark, she's a poet and writer and book publisher. Glenn Van Dyke, they are a musician and audio engineer. Marcus Jamal Williams is a visual artist. And Ithiel Israel, a local filmmaker.
Well, congrats to all of them. As it happens, Marcus Jamal Williams, the visual artist, is our next guest. He's going to be talking about his new exhibit. So synergy, right? But I want to talk just about a couple of the accomplishments of some of these people. The first winner that you announced, Raquel Benjamin, has a fashion collection that she calls Protest Pinstripe, which is something that this grant will help her flesh out. Can you tell us a little bit about what that Protest Pinstripe
I love
is?
the way Raquel describes her work, because she says that she's an introvert. And so she's created this design that if you were standing far away, and it would look like a traditional pinstripe suit with a vest and a blazer and pants. But as you get closer, you can see that the stripes are actually made up of social justice messages that she wants to be able to project to the community in a quiet way, which is her way as an artist of communicating the importance of those messages.
There's also, as you said, Ithiel Israel. Yeah, he's a filmmaker. He's going to be using his grant to create a mini documentary. What is that project like?
Yeah, I love this. So Ithiel is he's such a generous artist around our community. He does a lot of work and a lot of collaboration. And this particular project, the way he described it to the panel was, it's almost like a small, it's like a small pilot, so that he would be able to, and it is about the history of hip hop in Jacksonville, which is so interesting. And so, but what he wants to do is eventually make it into a full-length film. So the grant helps him to be able to then, kind of shop it and get it started and be able to then promote it in other ways that might be able to make it into a feature film.
And Amy, you said you had almost 70 applicants this year. So how do you go through and winnow out the winners? What is that selection process like? It must be difficult.
Well, I'll tell you the first thing is that it's really hard to, because the talent was just unbelievable this year. And so leaving some folks behind is really hard. But we do look at things along the lines of artistic merit and the way that the artist is able to describe what he or she or they would be doing with the work, with the funding. So really specific ideas about how they would execute a project or develop themselves professionally as an artist, because that's really important too, the business of being an artist. And so those grants are also eligible. So we have a panel of subject area experts, and they go through these with us, and it is torturous, I'll tell you, just because there's so much good work.
And Kathleen, I want to shift and a little talk about the foundation itself, but where does the money for these art grants come from specifically?
So the Art Ventures field of interest that we have is actually our largest field of interest, our longest standing field of interest, and it comes from a variety of sources. We did receive a grant in the early days that got that started, as well as many generous donors that have supported it over the years.
How long running is this?
34 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
So I know that our former host here and just kind of general Jacksonville rock star, poet, performer Al Letson was a recipient
Yes.
many years ago himself. Are there other names that we would recognize of people who've won these grants and have continued to be, prominent artists in the community?
I think that there's so many. Jim Draper has been a recipient. Louise Freshman Brown received our Ann Baker Award last year. David Engdahl, who's a prominent sculptor, but really cool people like Ebony Payne English, who has now moved on to other communities to do her fantastic work. On and on, honestly, dancers, filmmakers, visual artists, muralists, you name it.
And Kathleen, for people who don't know what a community foundation is, let's just give a little quick explainer, if we can, how it works.
Sure. So the way a community foundation is set up is we're actually a collection of funds. So different donors set up funds at the community foundation, and we have over 600 funds at the community foundation. We're geographically based, so we serve all of Northeast Florida, and we are the oldest and one of the largest community foundations in the state of Florida.
And so people who want to donate to something in the community but perhaps haven't yet figured out what it is that they want to do with that money, sometimes nearing the end of a tax year, for instance, they're kind of putting aside the money that they want to give charitably. So what does the community foundation do to kind of help direct those funds or coordinate with donors to kind of target their spending?
Right. So that is one of the benefits of being at the community foundation is we engage with nonprofits in a wide variety of areas. So we know what's going on in the community. And so often we're able to connect very generous donors with very worthwhile causes in the community. So they call us all the time and we help make those connections for them.
And so when the arts is just one small area
Right.
that you do, talk about some of the other grants and programs and initiatives that you
Yeah,
manage.
sure. Yeah, I'm really excited because we have a few of our opportunities are open right now to apply for grants. And those range from very small grants to support grassroots, small nonprofit organizations. We also support LGBTQ serving organizations. We support improving the quality of life in Putnam County right now. We also have a major focus on supporting struggling neighborhoods, really by helping support opportunities to address affordable housing and economic development opportunities.
And how do you choose those priorities? Are those things that your donors are expressing interest in? Or is that just sort of you assess needs in the community and then kind of target the grants around them?
Yeah, so we do both. Often we have donors that know what focus areas they'd like to give to, and so they set up funds that have very specific intent within those funds. And then we have other donors that ask the community foundation, what should I give to? And that's where we assess the needs in the community through strategic planning and a lot of listening to the community to determine where we should focus those unrestricted dollars that we receive.
And so for a nonprofit in the community or an individual that is interested in connecting with some of the available money, how do they go about doing that?
So I'd say the first step is to look at the website. And so you can go to www.jaxcf.org and click under apply, and you can see the different opportunities. And under every different opportunity, there's a staff member that's listed that they can reach out to and have a conversation with. We welcome that opportunity and encourage it.
And the next Art Venture grant, is that the same amount, the same number of people? And when does that application process begin?
We will open applications for small arts organizations in the summertime. And so what we're doing is, because we made the grants larger to the individual artists and to the small arts organizations, we're making those grants every other year. So this coming year, we'll be focusing on small arts organizations as well as small Black arts organizations. And so again, more information available on the website. And we look forward to questions that any organization might have.
Well, Amy Crane and Kathleen Shaw from the Community Foundation for Northeast Florida, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anne.